Welcome to Atikin Plays Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. All right, hi, this is Atikin and welcome to Series 4, Episode 32 of Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. Well, the votes are in, at least we've decided to count them and declare the election. And I thought it might be, before I declare the winner, I thought it might be nice to explain to you how voting works in our little republic. Each of you gets a vote. Absolutely, each of you gets a vote. And I get a vote for each of your votes, plus one. So the votes are in, and what we're going to do is continue with this series, Series 4. We're going to work toward self-sufficiency, as we would have done in Series 5. We're going to work toward doing more and more construction management, and I'm going to take this particular episode to show you a fix I've done, and we're going to discuss sufficiency and define what we're going to mean by that term going forward, at least through this the rest of this series. So first of all, I need to do this. We need to do this because I've got some planning here that's going to stop everything from running. So let me show you what I did to fix. Remember I said in the last episode, had some problems right through here, actually had a gridlock situation. And what we really want to avoid in this game with the way the signals work, we do not want lines that cross in two directions. In other words, this right here, you want to avoid that when you can, and you certainly don't want trains going in both directions there. So what I've done is redo this, and what I would have done ideally, frankly, had these factories been more this way to the left of the screen, I would have put another crop circle in here. And by the way, let me just show you real fast why I keep calling these crop circles. Packrat mentioned he laughs when I say it because he thinks I'm making a mistake, and I'm very much mean to say crop circle, and let me show you why. All right, so let's get back to the fix. Anyway, I would have put crop circle in here and hooked everything into a crop circle, but it's just too tight. So I decided to go to Plan B on how to clean this up and make it simpler. And remember, simpler is way better. So what I've done here is, first of all, make sure that we have enough space from here into here, 6 tons between intersections. And then what we're going to have is each of these things that needs to come off of here to go out to these plants or storage. There's a warehouse here that you come off the line into to put chemicals in the fabrics. And there's one here to pick up crops. And there's one here to, right now, to drop off meat for here, or crops in here for the food and distillery. And there's a fourth one up here to pick up food and alcohol. So what we have now is everything runs on a loop, one way in, one way out. So this first one that we come to going this way, now there is one, the chemicals happens to come in this way and loop back. But the first one going up the screen would be the clothing. So what we do now here is say, okay, we've got our middle lane, but you go into the middle lane here, and it's easier to see if I put the signals on. You go into the middle lane like this. There's a chain signal, and you can either bypass that middle lane and keep going. That would be most traffic. The closed train would come in here like this and has room to come all the way up here. And in fact, I've got to add these in. There will be a chain signal right here and one right here that you chain into your intersection here, and you're going to exit out of it, clear that thing, take this one off. Here we go. So now we're coming up. The clothing comes up to here when this is all clear, and we need a chain signal here. Okay. So when this one's clear, he will cross over and go all the way up here to the clothing. If we should choose to run a second clothing train, no problem. There's 6 tons of room right here, barely, between this signal and this signal, so another train could come in here and stop. And we could even run a third train, and it could just simply stop out here in the middle and just wait its turn. Now, how can it get away with that? Well, and I should say, and then we have, instead of this backing up and going out the way it did before, now it comes around like this, loops into an exit lane that comes around here like this, and joins into our other exit lane. And down here, while we're here, you can either exit and go into the circle to come back around and go up screen, or take this side and use the bypass to go around the circle and move on your way down screen. All right, so now you're running in a circle, one way circles, right? So that would be for the clothing. Then the next one you have to get into would be over here to drop off meat or crops. Those trains will come down here like this, take this little cut over into this middle lane, this section of the middle lane. They'll come down here, and we'll have a similar setup down here where they go in and they say, okay, am I clear? In this case, there's not quite enough room, but that's okay. They'll sit right here. They've got a chain to their signals here, and there's 2 lanes that they can go to. So once one of them's clear, they'll get a clear, and they'll go all the way through. And they, too, will come out, exit, and merge into our exit loop and come down here and hook back in with the one we just saw for the clothing. And so now a train could come down here. There could be 2 in there. There could be 1 waiting back here. So you could have as many as 3 trains running all up here at the same time without stopping the rest of your traffic. Then we have, so now we're going on down through here, and you come to another one that lets you go over into the left-hand lane, or the middle lane, excuse me. And then you come up here, and that would be the one that goes into the pickup for food and alcohol. And it works the same way. It sits here and says, okay, am I clear to go? When it is, it goes all the way into the warehouse. If there's a second train coming, it could come up here. There's enough room for it to wait in this area as a second in line. And you could even have a third in line that waited right here back on this middle track. So you could run as many as 3 trains in there safely without holding up traffic. You could run as many as 3 trains into here without holding up traffic, and you could run as many as 3 into the clothing without holding up traffic. And then the other one that comes in would be this right here, which is dropping off chemicals. And we could have a train that comes in here and goes all the way up to the chemicals. Another one could be waiting here. A third one could be waiting here. So we could actually run 3 into all of them. But they all run in one-way loops so that they come back around and join into this exit lane that runs right back down, takes us back to the circle, and gives them the ability of going up screen or down screen from there. So that's the new design, and I'm going to go ahead and build that because it could mess up our other trains that are already running. Well, in fact, it will mess up our other trains. Okay, so that's the idea with that. And again, it's the usual thing of chain signal in, clear the block with a single direction exit. And that right there does not look right, does it? I mean, that just doesn't look right at all. Let's see what happens if we try to remove that. Let me build that again. That looks better. That just didn't look right. I don't know if that would have worked or not. It was probably just a graphics thing, but it certainly looks better now. Let's check the other ones. So that one, same thing. It's screwy looking. Let's try this again. I didn't mean to do that. That looks better. Oh, and you need to exit it from here. Well, wait a minute, do you? No, this one we're not going to put an exit here because that's the job of this chain signal up here to let you go through there. And notice that we've got a chain going to a chain, so a train won't go right here and stop. He would get a chain signal here looking at that chain signal and then pick one of these lanes to go into. Because we don't want them stopping right here, because then they would also be stopping this lane, which means trains coming up through here would have to stop. All right, so enough of the train stuff. But that should, I haven't seen it, I will have to see that work, but that certainly looks good. And then down here, we've got it nice and cleaned up. You're dropping back here. When your exit is always, you're looking from way back here, and you're looking for this whole block to be clean, which is all the way up through there and all this before you go. All right, so enough about the trains. Okay, so what do we want to do going forward? I think, like as I said, we're going to keep going with Series 4. One reason is a ton of work. I don't want to do all this again, and frankly, I like what we've done. It's not perfect by any stretch, but I like it. I think it looks cool. It certainly works. It's profitable money-wise. It's doing well happiness-wise. Oh, look at there. There we go. We got a 21-year-old. Anybody know how to find these people without going through every apartment and looking? Can anybody give me some insight into that? Anyway, we've got one of those. And because we don't have any density overlays where we can see the density of apartments, you literally just have to click on them one at a time to see how many people. There's a 189, 189, but that's not the place. So anyway, what else? I did turn all the imports back on for the food, clothing, etc., because it's a safety valve in case you have a problem. You don't end up starving your people. I turned them off for the test. They don't need to be off because I want to discuss what self-sufficiency actually means. And to do that, let's look at a couple of numbers. Let's look at this year, which is almost a full year, and let's look at our consumption and production. So if we look at our crops, we are consuming, in the way of crops, 44,000 tons of crops, and that's just on the 44,000 tons of crops that we're consuming. And if we look at what we're producing with our 3 farms, 2,000. So 2,000 versus, what did I say? 44,000. We need 22 times more production of crops just to be self-sufficient in crops, just for the amount of people we have right now. Can you imagine trying to fit that many farms onto this space? I don't think it can be done. I literally don't think it can be done. If you look, here's our borders. There's a good spot here. We could probably get about 3 large farms there. Maybe, well, that's our border, so we can't use any of that except for that little piece right there. We know we can, this is Saldani right here. We know we can get about 3 more good-sized agro farms here with a fire protection. And let's say we could get 4 in there. That's 7. Maybe 3 here's 10, 6, 13, maybe 16, 19. If we just fill up all the flat spots on this map with farms, we couldn't have enough farms to be self-sufficient in crops. So I just don't see how it can possibly be done. Now, there are probably people doing it. I just said that, and there are probably people doing it. One thing they're probably doing is they're taking the bulldozer and the excavator and just flattening massive pieces of land. I'm not going to go there. But even if I did, one, it wouldn't be any fun at all. And 2, I'm still not sure you could make it. So my question would be, do you know anybody who's actually absolutely, with a large republic, self-sufficient where they never import crops? And maybe more to the point, do you know anyone who has reached self-sufficiency where they have a decent size republic, say 40,000 people or more, and they don't import anything? I can't see it. That's number one. I just can't see it as a reality. And secondly, I can't see it as what you would want to do if it was your republic. If it was the real world, if this was a republic, we live in a global economy. You would want to participate in that economy, and you would want to trade both import and export to your advantage. You'd want to import things that you didn't want to spend the huge amount of time and resources to create, that you could then produce into a value-added resource and then sell it at a higher, provide it to your people and export it at a higher rate. That just makes sense to me. So self-sufficiency to me is not something to say, hey, I don't import anything. I just don't see that as a reality. If you got in a position where we were in some kind of, when they put the events in the game and there's some kind of an event where we literally aren't allowed to import, we could find a way to make things run here. We could find a way to hunker down and survive that, and that's what you'd be in survival mode. But when you're running a normal republic in a normal economy in a normal world, you import and export. So that's what we're going to keep doing. However, now having said that, I do want to have a goal of being less and less and less dependent upon the imports, and that just makes your economy stronger and stronger. So what we're going to do is take our imports. So we're going to look at, like, let's look at this year, and let's look at what we're importing. And look at what our big ticket items are, and it's coal, ore, and it's crops, right? That's where we're spending the money on imports. And then if we look at dollars, import dollars, it's crops and power. So crops is the theme. So we're going to have a 2-year plan to greatly reduce the amount of crops that we are importing. So let's come up with a number here. Let's say this year crops 2 million in rubles and 1.5 in dollars. That's about 4 million. Let's say that we're going to reduce our total crop imports to 3 million total, a combination of rubles and dollars. So we're going to take that 4 million and drop it to 3 million. That's going to be one of our immediate goals, is to reduce our crop imports. And there's 2 ways we can do that. We can use less of them, which means just make less food and less alcohol and stuff. We're not going to do that. So we're going to make more farms. So we're going to have to reduce by 1/4 our crop. Wow, that's a big goal. Now that I think about it, because we're going to need about 4 or 5 crop farms in big agro farms up and running and producing and linked into our system. But it didn't look too bad. We could definitely put one, maybe one over here. That could be 3 along this valley. It'd be easy to hook into our rail system. And then maybe and we got a nice big flat spot out here. So maybe we can do it. This is no good. It looks better than it is because it's too hilly. And this is actually no good either. This is horrible, in fact. But maybe this valley here and over here and here, we'll just expand out along this river. So that'll be one of our goals. And we need another goal. And our other goal is going to be to expand into another product. So we've got chemicals going in 2 places. Our production's very poor, but we do have chemicals going in 2 places. So we're going to get into plastics, which would be next. So that our 2 goals coming up now will be plastics and chemicals. All right, so let me back up a little bit. I do want to change one thing. I didn't talk about construction management. What I would like to do is come to a, let's call it a near self-sufficient state in terms of construction management. And what I would like to do is be able to produce the products that we need the materials we need for our construction management, because as I read, someone said this on the STEAM discussion groups, and it's just, it's really a great observation. If you are creating all your construction materials and you're using your own people, your construction, you can build whatever you want almost for free. I mean, really, if you think about that, that's amazing. It's a wonderful thing, and we're going to try to work toward that. So let's back off that plastics. Let's stay with the crops, and I'm still going to auto build when I feel like it, because I feel like it, and because I don't feel like taking all day doing nothing. But I would like to get to the point where we have construction management materials. We have a town kind of dedicated to that. I'd like to have it somewhat centrally located. I'm kind of looking at right here. And we create, I wonder if there's any coal right there. Is there any coal near where we are? No, there isn't. There's iron. Where's the nearest coal? Nowhere. There's none near us. Maybe over here, kind of. Where is it? Coal, coal, coal. I think, let me see. Come on, show us some coal. Looks like it's right about there, maybe. Oh, here we go. It's weird, but there's coal down here kind of on the ground, which would certainly be easy to get to. It's not a great deposit. And by on the ground, I mean down off the mountain where it'd be easy to get to. No, this kind of sucks. As coal goes, that kind of sucks. Yeah, that's no good. All right, show us coal again. It shows a good seam right there. And I see some good places for quarries. Oh, here we go. Bingo, bingo. Oh, bingo. Wow, look at this. Look at this. All right, I'm thinking this might end up being our construction management area. I think our next town is going to be right here. We're going to build a coal mine because we need coal for the bricks. We also need more coal for our steel mill, and we can certainly ship some over. But look at this. This is just sitting down here. Easy access coal mine. Is there any other good ones around, or is it just that one sweetheart? Well, that's decent. That right there, that should be outstanding right there. I'm just going to put that there to market. Hopefully we'll be able to find it later. Par du Beast. I'm going to mark this as construction. For now, we'll give it a name, but I'm going to call it construction materials. Well, ConMat. I'm going to call it ConMat now for construction materials, and so we can find it later. All right. So, and what I'm thinking is we have coal, we have quarry, gravel processing, coal processing. Take some of the coal and make bricks. Set up some lumber industry so we can make boards. Set up the prefab, whatever else we need. I'll plan it out later. But it's a nice big valley. I mean, we could even do more farming. And I may be wrong. We may be able to put 1,000 agro farms on here. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It just seems like a lot of farms. You better love building them. But on this name, not that far. Look where we are. Look at this. we're not that far from Nashville. So this could be good. This could be good. Little railroad connection over here. In fact, Modak, you might get your wish. This valley you were talking about, we might put a town in here to run people up by rail to work in these coal mines, because we do need more coal ore. And we've got these guys here, and we're not, we're doing okay. Actually, we're doing okay with the coal ore now. We've got, what do we got here? Well, we got great turnout in this one. Now that this has grown up and we put some people in there, this one's doing well. This one, it's a little lighter. We could use more people there, but still, we're doing better. We're doing better. And then the other thing I want to do is figure out this power, and I want to work on these grids and get these things organized. I'm sick of this, so I think I may come back next video and I may just do some deletions and rebuilds of the power. It'll cost some money, but I'm just sick of this. It's ugly. It's disorganized. It's just not acceptable to me. So, all right. So now, what do we got? Well, basically, we got me just talking, don't we? Sorry, but what are we going to do? We fixed our problem up here. We are going to keep going with Series 4. We're going to keep going with this map. We're going to keep going with our beautiful little build here. We're just going to keep making it better and better. Our next steps are to put in crop farms and the supporting towns for them. And by the way, I just realized after all that I just said, we can probably get 3 agro farms around this and take advantage of this fire station right here. See, we could put an agro farm here and have farms down here that it supports, maybe another one here going out this way, another one here going out this way, and have farm, fire protection and get 3 farms going that way. So we'll look into that as our farm. So we're going to build up our crops, reduce our crop imports by 1 million rubles, and we're going to, what else? Oh, and we're going to forget about the plastics for a minute, and we're going to go out to Conmat, which is right out here. And we're going to set up construction materials. We're going to set up a fairly robust little stockyard out here so that we can have this set up, and every time we want to build a new city, we'll be able to set up trains that run the materials to wherever we want to do our next build. Maybe right up here with our agro farms. Maybe we'll build our agro farms with construction. Why not? And we'll be able to use this as kind of the semi-centralized area where we have our construction materials set up and be able to ship them off, like I said, anywhere we want to do building. So we'll try to get into more of that mode. And I'll go through and edit this and make this a lot shorter than it is. All right. All right, so a whole lot of jibber jabber, not much playing, but we'll, well, almost no playing. But anyway, that's the plan. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it'll help you become a better player. And I hope you'll join us for our next Workers and Resources Soviet Republic video. Thank you.